Hello everyone and welcome to 100 Wonders of the World. Today we'll be talking about the Suez Canal in Egypt, and it's in part of the continent Africa. The Suez Canal, extending from the Mediterranean harbor city of Port said southward to Suez on the Red Sea. The Suez Canal is one of the most remarkable waterways in the world. Well before the birth of Christ, Egyptian rulers had the idea of digging a canal that would connect the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. Nevertheless, it was only in the 17th century that the philosopher and scientist Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz brought new life to the old idea. In 1978, in the course of his expedition to Egypt, Napoleon Bonaparte commissioned a survey and took measurements for the eventual construction of a canal. It would be more than 50 years, however, before the French engineer Francois Ferdinand de Lesseps found an alley to support his Suez Canal enterprise. The Egyptian Victory said, working from plans prepared by the Austrian Alois Negrelli in 1838, de Lesseps organized the project from a logistical and engineering standpoint. Finally, in 1859, the first spade pierced the soil in Port Said, breaking ground for construction of the Suez Canal. Despite the accompanying euphoria, de Lesseps was aware that enormous difficulties lay ahead and knew that this would have to be overcome before any progress could be made. Because Egypt lacked the necessary raw materials and the equipment, everything had to be imported from Europe, including all the wood needed to construct the scaffolding. In addition, they had to provide for at least 25,000 workers. In 1862, 1,600 of the 1,800 canals on the site were used solely to transport sufficient drinking water for each day. The cost reached 8,000 francs per day for drinking water alone. In the end, a separate canal system had to be built to bring it in. Once the drinking water situation was resolved in 1863, work could begin in earnest. After 10 years of construction, the Suez Canal was finally opened to shipping with great fanfare on November 17, 1869. The canal originates in the north at the harbor of Port Said. From there, it extends to the south, flowing first into Lake Menzala. It leaves the lake at kilometers 45, cuts through the El Kamantra Ridge, and flows 2.5 miles further before entering Lake Bala. Then it passes the stations El Fardana and El Jizr, flows through Lake Timash, and crosses the rising hills of the Serapeum. At kilometer 95, it reaches Bitter Lake, a large body of water with an area of 85 square miles. The lake is already affected by the tides of the Red Sea, which the canal reaches at kilometer 156 in Suez. Despite an extended period of conflict between Egypt and Israel in the 1960s and 1970s that limited traffic, the Suez Canal is the most important shipping route in the world today. Up to 15,000 ships use the waterway each year, transporting 15% of all cargo worldwide, even though the ships have to pass through in single file, traveling the whole distance around 15 hours. The canal was not designed for ships the size of modern transport vessels. Supertankers can only use the canal if part of their cargo is offloaded in Suez, transported to Port Said via pipeline, and pumped back into the ships there. The time and money saved is considerable. As of 2010, modifications on the canal should make it possible for oil tankers with a draught of 72 feet to pass through, further reducing the cost of transportation in Middle East's most valuable commodity. Let's look at some of the important facts. Size. The Suez Canal is 100 miles long and between 985 and 1,200 feet wide. The canal bed is only 600 feet wide and 70 feet deep. Construction. The canal was built from 1859 to 1869. Construction costs totaled 19 million pounds sterling. Income per year. The canal is Egypt's most important source of capital, bringing in some $20 billion a year. Capacity. Currently only ships weighing about 200,000 gross tons. The so-called SUEZ maps can pass through the canal. Thank you for listening, everyone. Stay tuned for more 100 Wonders of the World.